Hey guys, it's Jeff and I'm back again with another Roots screencast. This time we're going to be talking about Roots templates. So, you might have noticed that when you create a new Roots project, it will ask you a couple of questions and then it will fill in the dependencies and it will produce a starter template for you that's filled in with some basic stuff. So I'm just going to run Roots new example and just show you really quickly in case you have not watched any of the other screencasts. So you can see the prompts come up asking for the name of the project. You can fill this in with whatever you want. It asks for a description. You can fill this in with whatever you want. And then it goes through the process of creating a project, installing dependencies, and it produces a template for you that's been filled in with the correct information in the correct places. Now, this might not be exactly the template that you need for every project. This is simply a base template that we made that's fairly minimal and fits the bill for most Roots project use cases, at least when you're just trying to get started. But Roots has a robust templating system that's built in order to be able to handle many other templates if you want to use them. So you can see at the bottom here that it says using template Roots base. This is the base template that we have come in by default if you haven't specified any other template. And I'm just going to cd into here, open this up, and you'll see this familiar structure here. In the README, it's already filled in the name of our project and this very accurate description of what this project is doing, and other things like that, just so that we could get everything off the ground nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and we're going to take a look at another template that we've made here. This is just a very basic Roots template that will set up a simple blogging system using the dynamic content extension. So I'm going to take this command for installing it, and from the command line just run this. It says template blog added. Excellent. So now in order to make a new project with this template, I can just run Roots new. I'm going to call this example again, and then I'll do template blog. This option can also be shortened just to T for brevity if you would like. So this is going to ask us some questions again. These questions could be different, but for this very basic template, these are just the two questions that we have to get started. And this will run through and do the same old deal with installing all the dependencies. But now here at the bottom, it says using template blog. And if we cd into this page and open it up, you can see that we do have this posts folder here that contains a couple of blog posts. And if we run Roots watch, as soon as this compiles, we'll see that while this is still a bare bones template, as most starter templates are, we do have a little bit of the differences from the starter template. We've got this simple blog with an index page, and it's got a couple of posts on it, just to get you started off with the basic blog type of Roots site. So that was an example of adding a new template. There are a few other things that we can do with templates here. So I'm going to go on the Roots site down to documentation and jump into the command line interface. So if we scroll down a little bit here to the template command, you could see that this will give us some options that we can use to deal with templates. So we've already seen template add, and that will just add in a new template which expects the name of the template and the URI, which we did provide in that install command, which is right here, Roots TPL. You can use the full word template if you want. It's just a shorter alias. Add, and then we provide the name and the URI right here. And we can also remove a template if we would like. You can also set a template to be the default so that you don't need to specify it when you run Roots new, and it will just come up as the default. So let's try doing that right now. We'll do Roots TPL default and set it to blog. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go back up and remove this example directory one more time, and then we'll just do Roots new blog. I'm just calling it blog this time, but notice that we did not specify a template here, and so if this all worked correctly, what Roots will do is, now that we've set our default template to blog, it will create our project with this blog template so that we don't have to specify it every time. This is a really great option if you decide that you're going to use a different template than the base template for all of your projects. For example, if you don't like Jade that much and our base template uses Jade, you might be able to change that to something else, make your own base template, and then use that for all of your projects. So you can see that this did work. We have the post folder, and this is our blog structure, which is just great. So I'm going to go back up and remove this. Cool. So this is coming along well. The next thing that we might be wondering is whether I can close all of these windows and how you would make your own template. So I want to show you a project that we have here called Sprout. Now, you might have seen this theme in other screencasts if you've checked them out, but Roots is actually a large project that's made up of many other small projects that very specifically handle aspects that Roots does, and they all handle them on their own and can be used independently, but are rolled into Roots just for your convenience. And Sprout is one of those projects, and Sprout deals with project templating, and it can be used on its own. As you can see, you can install this globally, and it does have a CLI that is very similar to the CLI that Roots exposes for templates. It also has a JavaScript API, which is how it can be integrated with other libraries like Roots. And if you go down past that, there's a lengthy documentation section on writing your own templates. And so you can read this through if you would like to get a quick view of how Sprout works and how you can use it to make your own templates. And we're going to just walk through some of these concepts quickly to get you started if writing your own templates is something that you're interested in. So here is the base template. That's the default. You could see that in this root folder, it contains all of the files that we are familiar with. And here's where you start seeing clues as to how this templating system works. So Sprout uses EJS, which is a templating system that uses this type of %sign tag here in order to render values. Essentially, all you have to do is include EJS tags in any file that you'd like to have user-specified values rendered into. And so you notice when we booted up the base template, we were seeing that it actually put the name of the project in the description here, which is exactly what you would expect. And so this is all you really have to do. For a template, you just have a root folder that has all of your template files inside of them. You can use EJS tags wherever you want inside of that template. And then you have one more important file, which is init.coffee. And this is a very simple file in which you could export a couple of configuration options that allow you to prompt the user for input before the template is rendered. So here you can see what we've already seen on the command line. It's just two questions asking the project's name and for a description, and noting that they get saved out as name and description, which are the exact same values that you are seeing right here. There are a bunch of different types of inputs that you can expose. You can ask them for a yes/no question. You can ask them to pick from a list. And you'll get all of those inputs back and be able to use them in your templates. For more information on making complicated templates, I would encourage you to check out the Writing Your Own Templates section of Sprout, which goes over all of the options. It gives you quite a bit of control on the JavaScript end of how you want to make things happen. So, if you want to get started with your own template, I would encourage you to check out the base template and fork it and see what you can do. Anyways, that's about it for templates, so I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next screencast.